get set. Where them haters, where them hoes, where them throws, you know what I'm saying? Cecil.
Here's the thing that came on YouTube from a martial artist that I actually admire and respect. He's accomplished a lot. He was just a straw that broke the camel's back. This person that inspired this video, I'm not going to name drop. I'm going to try to do my things without name dropping. But this is not just a response to him. This is probably a response to like at least 4 different YouTubers that I've heard say similar types of things to the effect that I'm talking about in this video. So basically the topic of discussion was self-defense. And one of the points that was made is that the way we carry ourselves can make us more likely to be targets of bullying. And that a good, I'm paraphrasing. And another thing is that a good step 0, that's what I call it. Most people think of it as a prerequisite, is that you get people together with their physical fitness before you start training them in martial arts techniques. Just think about it like this. The average person is probably more in danger from a heart attack, a knife attack, or a gun attack, or a physical attack. Their health, because they're so out of shape, is much more likely to get them before any other adversary will. Everything else that he said, and practically everything else that these other guys say too, I pretty much agree with. But I gotta raise an objection to these 2 things because I know better, because I've actually been through this. Let's start with the least offensive part first, in the more believable part first. It's a yes and no. Yes, a lot of people come into a martial arts class that are coming nowadays. We're not getting the most athletic and most in shape people in the world. And there are people I look at, and I've looked at over the years, and I thought to myself that they really would benefit more from a spin or Pilates class if they want to really be able to defend themselves than being in a martial arts class. First of all, because I just get a feeling sometimes this person's not going to stick with this long. They just kind of look more for a form of exercise than really trying to protect themselves, whether that's what they're telling me or not. And I've had this theory for a while, and this is something that's always made me exercise, whether I look like I do or not. I've been exercising for decades. The weight just has only recently started to come off, and I think it's going to be for good this time. I actually have read this now. First, it was just a theory I've had, but I've read it with other people, and this was also in the Managing Violence podcast. Sometimes what happens is that people get attacked. They defend themselves. They don't die from the attack. They have a heart attack because they're so out of shape that their body can't handle the stress and shock of somebody attacking them. So in that sense, someone who is that far removed from good cardiovascular health, because it's really not necessarily about being in shape, it's about your health. Somebody who their body just can't handle that type of shock. Yes, you should probably be doing more walking than trying to do walking stance. You probably don't need to be doing groundwork because you've probably spent too much time in a prone or sedentary position. You need to be moving so that you are healthy enough to deal with a violent encounter. Even the stress of arguing with someone might kill you. But, see, these are my 2 issues. First of all, I've seen people that have been in great shape but still were in bad health. Because let's say, for example, they can run 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 miles. They can play basketball all day. They have hypertension. They won't take their blood pressure medicine, and they can still get hit by a stroke. There's been at least 2 celebrities that, looking at them, I'm not going to say who they are because I don't want their fans coming at me. But it's 2 celebrities that I've been fans of over the years. Actually, no, it's 3 celebrities. If you were to look at them, you wouldn't think there was anything wrong with them unless you were medically trained and you can look and see what the symptoms are that manifest. But if you just looked at it in terms of their body weight and their physique and how they presented themselves, they look like great specimens of health, died of stroke. Because there's some stuff you can't necessarily exercise away, and there's some things that are just part of your genetics. And you just got a bad luck of the draw. So if you've got a health condition, you got to take care of it. It's not just about how big or obese you are. It's that type of thing plus your health. And as an aside, I think that at least these, let me see, 1, 2, 3 YouTubers that come to mind. I said 4, but I cannot remember who the 4th one is right now. I think that you gentlemen just need to admit that you do not like obese people. Just admit it. Just admit that you don't like people that are overweight. Because how are you going to sit up here and say that they're setting a bad example for the martial arts in their presentation and it's based on their weight? They're not setting a bad example. You just have a problem with people that are obese. Why don't you just admit that to yourself? But you can't because you know you're wrong, but you feel like you're not wrong, but you know today's political climate is not going to let you get away with that. So you're going to package it differently when you just have a bias against people that are overweight. That's what you do. You're not fooling me. Okay, and I know that bias is there in the martial arts. I just don't give into it. Just admit it. I think you would be happier if you did. Now, the second point about what we need to do and what people really need as a step 0. Oh no, this is still part of the first point. I don't really necessarily see people who just need to get in shape. That's not really the main deficit. The main deficit I see is that there are people who are out of touch with their bodies. It's like their brain does not talk to their limbs. They have a really big coordination problem, more so than a fitness problem. And this coordination problem is not something that you can necessarily look at them and tell that they can't function. Once they start moving, it's like they've never moved before. And this is one thing I like about the striking arts, which is why, though I was tempted to just jump over and convert to grappling, I can never do that completely because those solo forms that you do in taekwondos, your judos, your kung fu's, your karate, not judo. Judo doesn't have solo forms except for the striking in the back of the book. Your taekwondo, your tang sudo, your karate, your kung fu. Those solo forms build coordination. There are people, I've given this example before. Let's say I'm telling them I'm going to hit them on this side of their head. I tell them I'm going to do it. I say, ready. And then I say, don't let me touch you. And then I go to touch them on this side of their face. They try to parry with this hand. Children or adult. I tell them I am now going to act like I'm swinging at your head. I want you to duck. They don't duck, they lean into the blow. I tell them to lean forward to duck, they lean backwards and almost fall. One of my cousins / former co-worker was telling me when he was coaching basketball, but maybe about 10% of the people he would have to grab, set them aside, teach them how to catch a ball. Now, you may think this sounds like people who are autistic, but there is a spectrum. I think maybe some of these people on the autism spectrum scale never got diagnosed. They didn't know because they didn't present like they had that problem. And when you get them in, they are very, 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 very uncoordinated. And some of these people look like they're in very good shape. Some of them may even be in very good shape otherwise. But there is no way they're going to be able to protect themselves because they can't even do this. They can't even cover up and keep from being hit. Somebody's going to be punching them on this side of the face. They're going to try to cover up with this hand. So they need for you to teach them how to break fall because they can't do it. They need for you to take them through the ABC 1 through 3, Mickey Mouse part of stuff. This is how we stand. We do double down block first. They need that. Now, a lot of times, those are the people who are the main ones who are resistant to doing it. And they get mad and they get frustrated, but I don't care. That's what they need. They want somebody who's not going to take the time to make them do what they want to do, and they just want to woo, then go to somebody else for that. No, I'm not teaching for money in this job. So as long as I got this type of job with martial arts, I'm going to make you do what I know you need to do. Heck, even if I get a storefront one day, I'm still going to make you do what you need to do. Now, the second point is the idea that it's your child's that's what they didn't really get me. Your child is being bullied because your child just looks like prey. Let me tell you somebody who has been bullied before and who did all the stuff about I don't want to look like prey and all this other stuff, who figured that out on his own, presented that way, and still ran into problems until I just didn't run into problems anymore or I learned how to avoid them. It is not necessarily that your child looks like prey. If you're watching this, you're not necessarily being bullied because you look like prey. It's possible that you may be being bullied because you were surrounded by idiots. You were surrounded by people who are sadistic. If you don't know what that means, look it up. You are surrounded by people who are just mean and evil. And you were surrounded by people who resent you and hate you because you're an African American male who does not conform to the stereotype. So you were surrounded by racists. So no matter how you present yourself to people who are evil, to people who are stupid, or to people who are racist, if they are violent, they will attack you. Parents, it's not your child's fault, necessarily. And the thing is, trying to look tough and look some of these people in the eye to show that you're not scared is only going to antagonize them and make it worse, especially if they are mentally unstable. You don't look them in the eye. You look at their forehead, a trick I picked up in the military. You look in a general direction. You look in their direction, but you don't stare them in the eye so that you look like you're paying attention, and you are paying attention so you can't get sucker punched, but you don't look confrontational. You learn what type of little entries they're trying to do so they can have an excuse to attack, and you just don't let things go in that direction. That's what you do. It's acting tough in order to make them move on to somebody else. It does not work with people who are disturbed, sadistic, just plain evil, and or racist. They have their own sick little twisted agendas that they want to inflict on you or your child. And there's nothing you can do about that. There's not. I'm sorry. So those are just two things I wanted to clear up with regards to self-defense that I see floating out there. There are a few others, but I'm not going to go into those right now. I'm just going to stop at this because I don't want this video to get too long. Thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this with people like to talk about the martial arts. I would put a link to the various people I'm talking about, but I'm not going to do that anymore because it's just going to be beef. I'm not causing beef. I'm just telling the truth as I see it. Because it's not like I don't like these guys. A lot of stuff they do is very good. I just disagree. But that's okay. It's a free country. Peace.